couldn't make it to my semi-daily reading of Wellness Library cards, so let's get back on it. We got good deeds. This is a long one. Research the companies you buy from so you can support ones that have clear environmental policies in place. This is a very, very, very good topic. I could really go off on what I really mean to say, straight to the point with my feelings on this. When it comes to companies that seem to do things right when it comes to the options they supply consumers, it seems like if you want to participate in companies that seem to have slightly better will with how they conduct business, you have to be willing to spend. And that is something that we simply cannot ignore. We cannot ignore how much of a classist approach that feels like it is. Let's take, for example, diets. If you want to eat organic, for example, usually the organic item is inherently more expensive than the conventional counterpart. Organic, in my opinion, I'm not sure how true this is, but I feel like it's something that is misunderstood a lot. And I understand that organic is a method in which you produce food, I guess, beyond the cultivation. This is what I feel I understand the definition to be. Organic is not just about growing things without pesticides, but it also includes things like how something is kept, stored, maintained. Of course, the method for farming, which usually it involves avoiding pesticides as much as possible. Sometimes when you go to the store and you look at certain items, I feel like bananas are the most obvious. I feel like organic bananas tend to be a little wider and a little longer than the conventional ones. The conventional ones look a little skinnier, and I swear they tend to curve a little bit more. I'm not sure if it's just where those bananas were grown or if it's due to the fact that they are indeed organic and somehow that made a difference. But I just think that organic is presented as it's healthier for you, it's better for you because these things did not happen to it. And while I cannot say that if I witness someone right on my face take an apple, spray it with pesticide, rinse it, and offer it to me, I wouldn't say I would be wild and happy that I saw that. But an organic one, you may still be using an organic pesticide because I highly doubt that you can maintain such a big scale farm and avoid using anything at all against it. Sometimes I feel like you're telling me that organic, I'm supposed to believe in a sense that organic means that you plant the tree, you let it grow, and however it produces its product, it's not touched. And if it got damaged by bugs, you just throw it away. I think that's the misconception that's going on out there, that you have to buy organic if you want to avoid getting sick in the long term from certain ailments. I think that's not right because I think that conventional items are obviously safe to eat, but I just feel like greenwashing and marketing has made some folks afraid of what their food choices are. When it comes to overall impact on the environment, the first thing that would have to go is plastic. Are we willing to commit to let go of plastic? Are we willing to stop using paper products just so that we don't have to cut down more trees, so that we don't have to need more paper? I think that maybe we need to start forcing the consumer to purchase a certain array of, I guess, storage containers, dishes. And that's going to piss a lot of people off because, say, I use this thing for water, but if I have to every single time have my own container to be able to consume something from somewhere, I think that's going to piss off a lot of people. And what's going to happen is people are either going to overconsume or underconsume because who has time to be cleaning everything? Let's say that if I needed lotion, I have to bring a container like this empty. First of all, how do you fill this up with lotion? Do you have to have like some kind of thing that goes in there and that's how you dispense the lotion? See what I mean? But imagine that you buy one of this designated for lotion, you buy one of these designated for water, you buy one of these so that you can transport your, what would go in here? Grains such as rice or something. Imagine if we had to go to the source of the item, bring our own materials to access those things. I think that traffic is going to be horrible, and that's one of the points of selling things the way that we sell them. Some things are in a can so that they are better preserved, so that they can be shelf stable. But if we want to be truly environmentally conscious and clean and get rid of trash, I think that religiously reusing everything is the way to go, as opposed to, oh, I buy this, use it, throw it away. Oh, I buy a water bottle, not this one, of course, but say a plastic one, single use, drink from it, throw it away, and then keep buying it, keep buying it, keep buying it. Then the manufacturer of, say, this lotion has to consult the manufacturer of the container it goes on. That's how they keep each other in business. Are we really willing to commit to possibly killing certain industries that produce containers in the name of being greener? Is that something that companies really can do? And if you think about it, if you support someone local, say you go to a local bakery or something, they still have to get on their little computers and order that the containers to put a cheesecake slice in, the cup to put your milkshake in, the paper cup to put your hot coffee in with the sleeve and all that. Those are companies, separate companies. It's not the bakery making those containers. You have to consult another intermediary to supply you with those things. How can we truly commit to having a business model that's better for the environment? I think the only way that would have been possible is if we all had like nuclear communities, villages, where you know where to go to for food, you know where to go to for water. But even then, you would have to create your own container, know how to maintain it, and if it breaks or it gets lost or something, make a new one. How can we do that? And on top of that, what created trash in the first place? It was you started selling things in things like this, you gave it to people, people were done with it, and then they're like, what the fuck do I do with this? Where do I take this? And then the person is not just gonna go to their yard and toss it there and hope that it gets taken care of on its own. Somebody had to think about the trash program. Somebody had to attempt to remedy it by recycling and create that program as well. But that just didn't work. What I'm trying to say is ultimately, whether you shop from a mom and pop shop, whether you shop from a ginormous multi-billion-dollar company, probably trillion-dollar companies by now, this is still going to be a problem because it's a problem of our choices. It's a problem of our lifestyle and how things are offered to us. Even if I refill my water bottle, which is something I do, I refill this along with 2 more flasks, and I have my glass reusable gallon container thingy. Even though I'm doing all that, it still took me buying one of those containers and consuming my water in that manner, but it's not something that I have access to continuously. Sure, I may travel with my flask and things, but sometimes I may go to a place because I may run out and I may need to buy a water bottle. When I go to the gym, for instance, I don't like to take my reusable cups to the gym because the gym is fucking filthy. I like to use a plastic bottle so when I'm done with it, I can just throw it away. I don't want that on me. I don't want that with me. Whereas my reusable ones, I'm more conscious and careful about where I place them. You are never going to find them on the floor. You're never going to find them on the little pockets that machines have where you can put your cups, a cup holder at the gym machines. You're never going to catch it there. You're especially never going to catch my reusables in a public bathroom. I'm just conscious about that stuff. So at least what I like about having researched some of this information about companies is that I'm aware to an extent of how businesses work, why some shit is just not as easy to propose a solution to as we think. Do we know there is an environmental problem with trash and stuff that doesn't biodegrade on time enough? Of course, but I cannot just not buy things anymore because that's a problem. I cannot stop using lotion because my skin is going to get way too dry. And to me, it's proven that I get rashes and skin issues when I don't use lotion because of the dryness that I experience based on my skin type. Possibly. I'm not going to not drink water when I'm out and about because I ran out of whatever is on my reusable and I don't see a refillable station anywhere. I'm not going to buy a water bottle to then empty it on my regular cup unless it's a very hot day outside and the cup that I'm using is an insulated one that helps keep something cold for longer. Sure, I could do that, but I'm not going to just buy, say, a regular gallon of water to take home in plastic, using plastic to come home to dispense it over my reusable containers, because what the fuck is the point of buying something that I can throw away anyway? That's why I like the refilling stations option. But if I have to resort to buying something that is not refillable, then I'm going to, because I need to do what I need to do to survive, and it's not my fault that this is offered to me in plastic and not glass, and that glass is something that can easily break. I'm not going to take to the gym a glass container. So yeah, you guys, this one has been a topic that I have been extremely interested in since I was a kid, and I certainly try my best to dispose of things in a responsible manner and to, I guess, make certain choices as a consumer that may aid in producing less trash. But some shit is just not avoidable. Did you guys tune in to my video where I was describing what am I supposed to do when I go to a restaurant? Because we had a similar good deeds topic like this, which was bring your own container to a restaurant or something. And then I thought, okay, let's say that I do that. This is going to create problems because now I may be susceptible to waiting longer. There is a greater risk of contamination of my food if you have to wait for me to supply the container. I cannot get mad at companies for needing to take into account the convenience for the customer. Because if you make the use or consumption of an item too complicated, I am less likely to consume it. You would have to retrain that consumer to be a consumer that's prepared and patient and willing to invest extra. And you have to show us that this effort is worth it. It's no different from trying to sell me an electric car. I don't want the electric car. I grew up on gas. I've been driving gas. I paid off a vehicle that runs on gas. It is what it is. Unless you can offer this to me in a way that's sensible, such as, oh, my car runs out of juice. I pull up to an electric gas station and then I can plug it in to something, squeeze the pistol at the pump, and then electricity will just fill this thing up within 3 minutes that it takes me to refuel, and then I can drive off and have the same range as my regular gas one. Sure, I may consider it and give it to me for free because I already paid off my car. I'm not going to get into a new loan just because you couldn't figure out how to make cars good for the environment in the first place and you didn't consider this. Why are you coming up with solutions that are only going to set me back and complicate my life? That is another element of classism. It's like you can participate in these so-called environmentally friendly things, but it seems like you gotta have big bucks backing you up anyway. And the options that are cheap for a reason. It's cheap because it's usually made with crap. Another thing I cannot get behind is the whole always eating fresh. It's just one of those things that not everyone is going to have that option. Some people are going to need to have foods that they can just reheat and be in a can, even though canned stuff tend to have higher levels of salt, things like that. It's just one of those things that the average person may not always be able to indulge in unless you make that your personality and your life, which I'm not willing to do. I already don't have a lot of time in my day for many things as it is because I have to devote 8 hours to some other place. I'm spending less time at home, which I feel is the place that we all should be if we're working so hard to maintain it. I'm just not convinced. I guess I could create a stream in which we explore an environmental topic like this because I think that every few years there's like something new coming out, a new way to discuss this. And I also would like to review some of these, especially the organics and what it means to actually consume organic and things like fair trade and whatnot. There's always a business that's winning where someone else is getting something, but it's not as much as the winning company. That's why it's called a business. It's like, how can I get away paying as little as possible, but still get something good that people are going to overindulge in, and I can price it at whatever price I want to profit. See what I mean? If there's ever a time in which humanity can stop caring about profit so much, individual and company profits, then maybe we can march toward a healthier planet. But until then, we're just not on the same page. What is the point of doing all of this if we cannot even get along because we're trying to fight over resources and we are at risk of blowing each other up? Then the environment is going to be beyond repair at that point. For me, my biggest fear is whenever the war for water begins. Because I don't know about you guys, but water is one of those things that it could become scarce at some point. And that is where we're really going to suffer. Because say that we do survive wars, what is the point of surviving wars if we don't have as many sources for water? I don't know about you guys, but being thirsty feels awful. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you soon.